Alright guys, welcome in. Today we're going to be doing another Warhammer 40k video. This is the fifth one in the Bricky set and it's probably going to be the final one. We're probably going to move over to one of the other content creators, so I'm really excited about that and looking forward to that. Today's video is going to be every single Warhammer Space Marine Legion in a nutshell. And this was one of the videos that you guys had suggested in the comments. So I'm excited about this one too. So guys, stick around until the end of the video. We're going to be going over the comments section from the last video, which was what is the best army / faction to start with. This was about the tabletop stuff. Although I didn't realize at the time that that's what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be what is the best army to use in the Space Marine video game. That was one of the things I was going to go on to anyway. Maybe watch a 2,000 point tabletop game, and I might still actually do that. Please give the video a like. It really helps me out. It helps the channel out. It helps me promote some more awesome Warhammer 40k content out to you Warhammer aficionados. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Again, it does help us out. As always, leave your comments. Let me know if there's something that I'm missing in the lore or I've misinterpreted, which happens quite a lot actually. So I appreciate you guys giving me feedback and correction there. The next video is probably going to be another Warhammer 40k video from a different content creator, probably one of the guys that you have suggested, because I'm really enjoying this Warhammer 40k universe. I'm certainly enjoying it a lot more than what I thought I was going to. I remember having a conversation with my friend when I was visiting Scotland, and he was like, hey, you should play this Space Marine game and you should look at some of this lore, and it just didn't seem like it was something that I was going to be interested in. I was wrong. I have really enjoyed doing this series. Matter of fact, I've become interested in the lore, and I've listened to a couple of the audiobook samples, just trying to pick which one I want to commit to. I had even thought for myself to do some lore readings on the channel. I wonder what you guys think of that. If that's something that you would like to see, but maybe even doing some reading excerpts, reading a passage here or there, maybe doing a little bit of a Warhammer 40k book club. I'm quite keen on doing something like that. As you can see, we're rocking some Space Marine swag here. Shows my commitment to the cause. Shows that you've gone all in on the Warhammer 40k verse when you buy a t-shirt. Nothing says commitment like buying a t-shirt, for me at least. I'm a t-shirt guy. And also for you dog lovers, Penny's downstairs. She's having a little bit of a hard time right now. She's going through her first heat cycle. She's a sweet girl. She's taking it in her stride. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of camera time with her. Satisfy all you dog lovers. All right, here we go. Every single Warhammer 40k Space Marine Legion in a nutshell. A Bricky original.
To the people on the internet, the time has come. The reckoning begins. Your boy got himself a shaker cup. After many months of shilling gamer subs like mad, my favorite thing to do, we have ourselves a goddamn shaker cup. It's here, the official Bricky waifu shaker cup. Do you see the gal on here? If it's not great at focusing, I'm sure there'll be a thing in the background. Skater, put a thing in the background. Long white hair.
That's gonna sell itself.
Absolutely. A bit more toned. Abs, obviously. Bikini, hit it. Legally distinct mark on the face. Of course, she wants you to do the diddle thing, maybe, but most likely to serve in a glorious army. Legally distinct? I think so. The Bricky Shaker Cup is available now, and you should get it while it is hot.
See, this is the problem with reacting to these videos several years after they were made, because I can guarantee that his cup is no longer available. I went on to the Gamer Supps thing, put in the code Bricky to get my free cup that went with it, sold out probably years ago because it came out 4 years ago. And I think he only made like 1,000 of them or something like that. But I was bummed. I was part of it. And that is a sick looking cup, and I can guarantee you sold out. Maybe I could contact him and get him to send me my own special one out it.
Bricky, what should I put in this? Well, how about my
six-pack abs?
10 favorite Gamer Supps flavors from number 1 to number 10, all of them incredible, but listed:
black cherry, peach tea, strawberry daiquiri, okay, guacamole, gamer fart, cherry limesicle, Stephen Hayes emotional damage, blue raz, acai blueberry, pina colada, strawberry lemonade.
regardless, and an addendum for those that are caffeine free. This shaker cup is available now in the description of this video. You may use code Bricky as well at checkout to get a discount on your order. A massive amount of profits goes to yours truly, and a huge thank you to Supps for sponsoring and for getting me this beautiful cup. Go out there and get it. I'm gonna take one more sip for the camera, slow it down, throw some sexy music in there, and I'll see you guys soon.
Do it.
Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently
Hang on, I didn't see the sweet six-pack on there. What the hell? Where's the sweet six-pack? I gotta say, that's a close, but it's number 2 behind the first sweet six-pack. Because I kind of had a little bit of an expectation there of how it was going to go. Like the drinking and that was good. I liked it way better than the displate one. I wasn't a displate fan. I'm not saying I'm not a displate fan. I wasn't a fan of the displate ad. This wasn't as funny to me.
In the walls of the most prodigious school in the Imperium by punishment for falling asleep during class. God bless the Skull of Progenium. Many of you have come across my Every Faction Explained video. Firstly, thank you. Secondly, we are here to dig a little deeper. Space Marines are the quintessential poster boys of Warhammer 40,000. When people think 40k, they think Space Marines, but there are many types of Space Marines, formed from 20 separate legions. We are going to rattle them off in order and give you a quick rundown of each one. A disclaimer, like in my Every Faction Explained video, this is a mix of accuracy and memes. If I say the Salamanders Legion specializes in hugging children and petting puppies, they aren't exactly doing that.
Well, just to clear up some confusion that I had in the first place, I thought the Space Marines guys were all the blue guys. Like, I thought, like, the guys with the blue Space Marines, and then the other guys were different colors, were different armies. Like, they were like bad guys from a different planet, or a different army from a different planet, or a different army from a different part of the galaxy. I thought all the Space Marine guys were blue and red ones. I've learned so much already. I've come so far from that first video.
Mostly.
I would like to pet this creature.
But you can infer that they care about civilians and are a bit kinder than the average Space Marine. A Space Marine being a genetically modified super soldier that's had 1,000,000 new and terrifying organs shoved into them, refrigerators strapped to their bodies, and are so far above the average human that they are referred to as gods instead. Each Space Marine has a father, unlike you, a Primarch, which is basically an even bigger Space Marine that was forged in a lab by the God Emperor of Mankind, that gigantic golden dude you see everywhere, who is both the leader and now the martyr of humanity. The Primarchs are his 20 sons, built in a lab who lead
20? I have learned that that's a little bit of a faux pas these days. Somebody came on into the comments and was like, no, we don't talk about it.
20 legions of Space Marines who are their sons, not from a lab, but rather a dissection table, giving them the powers and skills of their associated Primarch via a gene seed, a special organ carrying the genetic makeup of their Primarch and, you know, their seed. So if Jagatai Khan of the White Scars has the genetic makeup that wants him to go really, really fast, then his sons, the Space Marines, also want to go really, really fast. I should note that I am only referring to the legions this time around. If you're interested in sub-factions like, let's say, the Black Templars, then it's not going to be here. However, I do have a excellent Black Templar video. I'd argue
there's a difference between factions and the legions. Okay, so these are just the Space Marine legions. It's not going to go over individual factions. That would probably make the video a lot longer, wouldn't it?
It's probably the most accurate one I can think of. It goes through the whole lore, everything about them. It's a very long video, and I'll put it in the description. Just look up Black Templar video in the description. You'll get what you need. And now, with the easy explanation out of the way, let us begin with our first legion.
When knights around table, we dance when we're able.
Dark Angels. Allegiance? Loyal. Primarch Lion L. Johnston, a duelist.
So I'm guessing that was a little bit of a if you know, you know. So he's probably alluding to some treachery within Dark Angels, like the Horus Heresy or something.
A knight A real asshole, I'm not gonna lie. The single word descriptor, paranoid. The Dark Angels are our first legion, hailing from the death world known as Caliban. Their Primarch, Lion L. Johnson, is what happens when you try to make the side profile Chad meme into a genuine character. He is a master tier duelist, a brilliant strategist, and an overall dick. There are few situations he isn't prepared for, and few fights he isn't ready to lead head on. This makes the Dark Angels have a very Knights of the Round Table vibe. They look like the knights of old with these large suits of power armor, often donning robes and hoods. Their names also follow this. They have like Ezekiel, Azrael, Belial, Samuel, and so on. However, the common thing associated with Dark Angels are the Fallen, a part of their faction that turned traitor against the Imperium, and they are
here we go.
very heavily trying to expunge all knowledge of them from existence. Fallen? What Fallen? Never heard of any Fallen. Do you know about the Fallen? We're gonna take you away and mind probe you to make sure you have never heard of the Fallen. They definitely don't exist, and if they do exist, which they don't, we will find them even though they don't exist. They love their interrogations. They thrive in it. Lionel Johnson is a scorched earth policy sometimes, and it's given to his sons in force, which makes sense considering that when the Lion heard of a Chaos Primarch on a homeworld different Primarch, whose mom was there, he was like, let's nuke it. The Dark Angels are a special group where they formulate themselves into 3 different factions. The Deathwing Terminators, slow-moving, tough phalanx. The Raven Wing, fast jet bikes and flyers. And the Green Wing, which is your standard Marines. They are a jack of all trades, but not in the sense where they're good at everything, but rather they have a lot of things that are good at specific things. Like instead of 20 people that have a multi-tool, they instead have 20 people with gigantic power tools for every job imaginable. If you like being suspicious about everyone and everything in your surroundings, but you also like to have a whole lot of deep knight type lore, run the Dark Angels.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
So these guys are very paranoid. They're very suspicious of everybody. There's probably suspicion even in their own ranks. And they're trying to cover up that they had traitors in their midst back in the day. So they're trying to wipe that betrayal from the history books. It's almost like they're trying to deny that a certain portion of their history never happened. Where have I heard that before?
Our second legion is a special one.
If you can see, the numbers all go to...
So the second one, I'm guessing, is one of the 2 that are not part of the 18. In other words, they don't exist, right? Right? Strange how it's 2 and not like 19th and 20th one.
The numbers all go to 11.
The Emperor's Children.
11.
Allegiance, traitor. Primarch, Fulgrim, a perfectionist, an artist, a sneaky snaky snake. And the single word descriptor, perfection. The Emperor's Children are all about the pursuit of perfection. Perfection in all they do. Perfection in war, in artistry, and perfection in every other aspect of life. Their armor is a gleaming pink, purple, and gold. Their ships have spires of gorgeous marble and gold statues in their honor. Fulgrim is a man who believes the pursuit of perfection is the goal of all things. And I mean, look at him. Can you truly tell me that he is not perfect? The hair, the features. As Primarchs go, he is the one you look at, and if
That dude is like Griffith from Berserk. Long, flowing blonde hair like Fabio. Perfect armor. There's people fawning over him.
40K had a guy that would give you the best sex you've ever had and never call you back, this is the fucking guy. Which is why this pursuit of decadence led them to the evils of chaos. Yes, Emperor's Children are our first Chaos Legion, and not just a normal one. One devoted to, you guessed it, Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure, God of unspeakable excess. The Emperor's Children in their pursuit are now horrifyingly mutated beings through Slaanesh's great will. They torture and maim to feel perfection through pain. They screech and attack with sonic weaponry for perfection through sound. And they slaughter, aiming for perfection in war. Fulgrim himself lost the battle against Slaanesh as a demon sword corrupted his mind and transformed him into the sexy man he was, into the sexy snake he is now. A demon Primarch, corrupting and bringing his legion's will by himself. As far as Emperor's Children go, they are some bad people. They do horrible horrible things to anyone and everything. In fact, they're such trolls that their battle cry is for the Emperor, despite being horribly mutated and corrupted. If you've ever taken a little too much of a drug, or maybe the music at the concert was too loud and you didn't bring any earplugs, or whatever the reason, you just take all those things and you dial it, and you dial it, and you twist it, and the knob breaks. And that is the Emperor's children.
God is dead.
So when I saw their armor, the color, Slaanesh is what I first thought of, like that sort of pink and gold, that sort of sexualized colors. It looked like an army of freaking sex toys marching out there. Slaanesh is what I thought of. So that makes sense that they are Slaanesh army. I wonder if, let's think about the timeline here. I wonder if Slaanesh's influence was already there on Fulgrim to make his armor that color, because even before they were corrupted, maybe she was trying to worm her way into Fulgrim's mind and encourage them to make their armor that color, because she knew they're just going to end up with me anyway. Might as well cut out the middleman. Let me give you the number to my tailor.
And we have killed him.
The Iron Warriors. Allegiance, traitor. Primarch, Perturabo, a warlord, a siege smith, an incel. Single word descriptor, siege. Continuing the trend of our Chaos Legions, we have the Iron Warriors led by Primarch Perturabo of Olympia. To understand the Iron Warriors, though, one must first understand Perturabo. A man so bitter coffee beans run for light. A man who hates the world and everyone in it, who never got recognition for his deeds, who hates his brothers and hates their accomplishments even more. Someone so laughably petty, so incredibly bitter that he goes full circle to becoming likable.
Everybody knows somebody like that. The guys that just get out of bed in the morning and just hate the hate. Like, they hate the ground that they walk on. They walk as if they're mad at the ground. And then, in some sense, it just becomes comedic to watch them and just like, what's he going to lose his shit about today? I've got guys that I work with that are like that. And you just go in, you're just like, you know, maybe you're bored that day and you're like, oh, I wonder how we can get such and such to react, and just start poking a little bit, just sprinkle a little bit of bait there and watch them go in for it.
Why? Because he's competent. The Horus Heresy, we didn't talk about the Horus Heresy. Intermission. So Horus was the Emperor's favorite son, right? You know, so the Emperor walked into his room. Horus said, Dad, I just gifted 150 subs to Amaranth, and she said my name a ton, and she loved me for it. I really think that I might get to meet her one day. And it kind of played out something like this.
Your feelings for her are not real. They are real to me!
So I know he was making the joke about the streamer, gifting the subs to the streamer, but who was the actual woman that he was infatuated with?
It started playing out a little bit more like this.
Let the seas boil. Let the stars fall.
Just from the video game?
The last drop of my blood.
Yeah. So Iron Warriors, the Horus Heresy wouldn't have gotten shit done without Peter Turbo. Imagine an entire faction that is the personification of brutal industrialism, where you serve the Legion until your dying breath. You build and you kill and you siege and you kill and you literally summon demons just to take them and trap them in machines and use them as cannon fodder. This is a thing they do. They summon demons to trap and use as shock troops. The Iron Warriors are siege warfare incarnate. They are heavy weapons, they are tanks, they are turrets, and they don't die. They hate Imperials, they hate Imperial Fists.
Do you need a pacifier, Iron Baby? No, I don't.
They are bitter incarnate. Perturabo and the Iron Warriors don't serve the Chaos Gods because they like them. They serve them because fuck you.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Not another speeding ticket. I'll fight it in court, but I don't think they're gonna accept gotta go fast as a medical
Those are
condition.
the Jagatai
White
guys.
Stars. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Jagatai Khan, a
Remember
speed
that.
demon, a plane strider,
Speed demon.
a roast god. Single word descriptor, speed. Hailing from Chagoris. The White Scars are all about speed. They love melee, but they love it even more when they are doing
White
it
guys
on a
love speed.
motorcycle or land speeder. Or honestly, just running really damn fast. The White Scars are honestly forgotten about a lot, and that's lore accurate. They are a legion that doesn't seek the recognition or glory from the combat they engage in. They engage in it because it is their duty and because they love it. Not in the insane slaughter enjoyment of loving it, but in the thrill of the fight. They are known as the Laughing Killers because they ride into battle with a smile on their face and a chuckle in their throat. And as you can tell by their Primarch's name, they are Mongolian based. Remove horses and replace them with motorcycles and land spears, and that's your style. They are heavily based on the old times,
Genghis Khan.
and consider this is 40k and everybody's evil. You know, that fits. The White Scars are actually physical scars on their body, going back to their heritage on Chagoris. The Khan himself is kind of a dickhead, but a reasonable one. He thinks ahead, he's intelligent, he's patient. He is often underestimated because he doesn't scream his accomplishments from the rooftops, which is what makes him and the White Scars dangerous. His skills are kept at bay, only to be truly shown when the time is needed. The White Scars are a forgotten legion often, but that doesn't diminish their accomplishments. All it does is surprise those who underestimate them. Speed, awesome Mongolian vibe they got going on, and if you really like to stab people, that's the White Scars for you. Shameless thirst break.
I think I picked that up on the first one about Jagatai Khan and the sort of Mongolian vibe to them. I like their armor. I like that sort of oriental look that they have to them. And that makes sense why they would be speed freaks. I don't know. There's an Adderall joke in there somewhere. No wonder they're so angry. All hopped up on Mountain Dew.
This is dog. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, bitch.
The Space Wolves. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Leman Russ. A Viking, a Savage, the Undertaker. Single word descriptor, wolf, 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 wolf. There's so many goddamn wolf units. Skater, how many units in the Space Wolves Codex have the word wolf in their name? The Space Wolves are the 6th Legion and hail from Fenris, a frozen wasteland of a world with their Primarch, Leman Russ. I don't really need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Space Wolves because it's very obvious who they are. They are the second most obvious what their shtick is legion in the 20 legions besides the World Eaters. When you look at the Space Wolves behind, what do you see? Do you see Vikings in space? You've done it. Congratulations, you have found Vikings in space. But they have as much in common with a regular Marine as an old-day Viking with like a Roman soldier. You see, as a Space Marine, your body is so enhanced that you filter out poison, and so you can't get drunk. The Space Wolves distill a special mead out of a horrible poisonous plant that would kill a normal human, so they can get drunk. They have fangs in their...
Don't worry about it, guys. We're going to be fine. I've got these freaking hemlock berries. We're going to make some beer out of it. It's going to be great. Just don't let regular people within 100 leagues of it, or they'll die just from the fumes.
Their mouths. They sometimes cannibalize their enemies. Sometimes they eat people because they gain knowledge about them from there and about battle plans. The Space Wolves are savages. They're raiders. They're Vikings. But despite all of this, they are loyal to their core. Leman Russ is an egotistical guy who just shouts stories and tales of his accomplishments everywhere they can.
Gather round the hearth and listen to me weave an intricate tale of how awesome I am.
But at the same time, he was so damn loyal that instead of gunning down his foes, he hit him with a fucking backbreaker to show his devotion to wrestling. If you want Vikings in space, you found it. Play the Vikings in space.
We're gonna build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
The Imperial Fists. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Rogel Dorn. A builder,
heard about this guy.
Phalanx, and he needs a hand. Single word descriptor, fortify. The Imperial Fists are led by Primarch Rogel Dorn, their homeworld of Inuit. However, they themselves are actually a fleet-based chapter, with their main source of recruitment coming from an enormous moon-sized ship called the Phalanx. The Fists are a chapter you think of when you think of duty. They love to serve. The love to serve and the inability to be moved. Rogel Dorn is an architect, a master builder, and basically a rock in brain and body. A lack of humor or ability to lie shows that he is as blunt as the weapons of war he creates. Not the swords he makes, but like blunt, strong weapons. The fists are the same. Take your archetypical American Marine style look, a buzz cut, a hard sense of duty, and then throw in some power armor and a love for building defenses, and you have the Imperial Fists. They are immovable. When you find a spot, they're ready to defend. You can't breach them. Their knowledge of defensive warfare is paramount. Without them, the Horus Heresy would have been so much more effective, but thanks to their insane and immovable tenacity, the Imperium lives today. And let's not forget that Iron Warrior and Imperial Fist rivalry. Want to know why the Iron Warriors are so bitter?
Wasn't it Rogel Dorn that rescued the Emperor from that ship where he went to battle Horus and he was grievously injured? This is the guy that went back and got him?
Guys are the reason why.
Hey, guys! Bring the thing! Where is he going?
Your mother was a hamster.
Hey! Hey, that could have killed me!
Hey, guys! We missed! Get another!
Dorn and Perturabo are basically two sides of the same coin. One is just a bit more level-headed and got better jobs. If you want to be defensive, to be good at everything Space Marines are good at, bolters, heavy weapons, vehicles, you want a classic military fighting force, start fisting.
I am having a very bad day. Today is one of the worst days.
Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. The Night Lords. Allegiance,
That armor. That's some cool armor. It's like necromancer armor.
Primarch Conrad Kurz, a sadist, a vigilante, the presso espresso. Single word, fear. The Night Lords are my favorite legion, hailing from Nostromo and their Primarch Conrad Kurz. They are a traitor legion from a planet known as the Sunless World, or the World of Endless Night. Nostromo is a horrible hive city that is known for being host to some of the worst gang violence, murder, and working conditions around. The only thing keeping the population in check is the suicide rate. The Night Lords followed in the footsteps of their Primarch, a man who believed in a twisted sense of justice and that the only way to make humans compliant is through fear.
Okay, what happened there? Do we have an internet issue? We do have an internet issue. Let's go check that out.
And that the only way to make humans compliant is through fear. The Legion's lesson has been lost on them, as their ranks were repopulated by gang members, murderers, arsonists, torturers, and other words I can't say on YouTube, as young as 12 years old. Murderers before they were even teenagers, raised to become demigods. Now, fear is what they sow and flesh is what they reap. The Night Lords are scum. They are the exact opposite of all other legions. They torture and they maim and they flay because they think it's fun. They run away often so they can come back and kill you with more numbers. They prey on the innocent and the weak. They kill normal civilians because it's easy and flee any battle where they don't possess overwhelming odds. They are the antithesis of normal Space Marines. They are scum. One time, a world did not comply to their demands, so they raided one of their ships and brought it into atmosphere. The crowds cheered and clapped as it appears that they had won the battle. And the airlocks opened, and the skinned and flayed bodies of the crew were thrown down in the populace. In other words, a legion of gangers and criminals. Add together a heavy Slavic influence to them, and you've got my favorite faction.
You have not done the dishes for 5 years. So embarrassed when people come over here.
What does it matter? You bring them over, you kill them. Vampires don't do dishes.
The Blood Angels. Allegiance, loyal. Primarch, sanguineous. An angel, a vampire, a dead-ass motherfucker. Single word descriptor, blood. The Blood Angels are ninth.
So that's kind of surprising. Like, you know, with the vampires, you'd automatically think that they were bad guys, evil, but they're siding with the Emperor. They're loyalists, you know, which doesn't make them good. I have to get that out of my head that the Emperor and man are good. There's no good and evil. I don't know how many of you guys have told me that already. It will eventually stick. There's no good and evil. But you know what I mean? You would expect the vampire legions to be affiliated with chaos, you know, blood and all that. That makes sense? At the same time, it's not supposed to make sense, because what makes sense to us doesn't make sense in the 41st millennium.
Legion hailing from the homeworld of Baal with their Primarch Sanguinius. The Blood Angels are a tragic tale with one of the best Primarchs, one beloved by almost everybody, a genuine angelic figure who led his people to glory, killed by the hands of the traitor Horus before the Emperor's eyes. The death of their Primarch led the entire...
So Horus was like the Emperor's favorite son, and Sanguinius was one of his other favorite sons. So Horus decided to kill him because he couldn't kill the Emperor, but it was the only way that he could get the Emperor to sort of pay attention, get under his skin, get him to leave the throne, right? I remember them talking about Sanguinius.
Legion to madness as their gene seed malfunctioned and created something known as the Black Rage. The Blood Angels degrade over time, experiencing something called the Red Thirst, which gives them a genuine vampiric thirst for blood. As their minds degrade and break down, they get angrier and angrier, becoming berserk killing machines with no other goal than to tear everything in sight apart. But they don't see it as that. They see themselves there, at their Primarch's demise, with Horus in sight. And to them, it's time for vengeance. That Space
Everybody's
Marine over
Horus.
there, that Chaos Space Marine, that's Horus. Kill him. That Ork war boss over there, Horus.
Get him.
Kill him. That Tyranid swarm, 1,000 Horuses. Horai. Kill them all. Did your toast come out a little bit burnt? Horus sabotaged your toaster. Destroy the toaster. Destroy it. Do it. Do it. Kill your toaster. Do it. This slow, debilitating disease takes over the Blood Angels, and it gives them this angelic vampire. And
I'm just going to start, like, if anytime anything fucks up, I'm going to, like the internet earlier, I'm just going to be like, fucking Horus. Fucking Horus. Give the fucking router a spinning pile driver. It's -20 outside and the car won't start. Horus, you piece of shit. I'm going to be late for work.
and Catholic-inspired imagery. They have chalices of blood. They rest in coffins and can even use psychic powers to sprout angel wings from their bodies. They are a tragedy through and through, and the only thing that will look more tragic are the mangled bodies of those they come in contact with.
I got a diesel engine.
Digging Blood Angels. I'm digging the Vampire Legion. I'm not a huge fan of red, like a lot of red, which sounds weird coming from a fireman. I don't know, there's something about like just too much red. Maybe I just see too much red. Maybe red is triggering to me. Maybe I'm a Blood Angel in spirit. Maybe this is one that I should be playing. Maybe it's written in the stars. Fuck you, Horus.
And honey, we forgot to mention, we're gonna take your job away.
The Iron Hands. Allegiance, loyalist. Primarch, Ferrus Manus, a machinist, an inventor, and not a great head on his shoulders. Single word, bionics. The Iron Hands are from the home planet.
Must have got his head cut off or something like that. You're like the Headless Horseman of the Space Marine Legions or something.
Of Medusa and their Primarch, Ferrus Manus. Just Ferrus Manus.
Ooh. Well, Medusa the Gorgon ended up getting her head cut off, and Perseus would take it. And no, hang on. So Perseus cut her head off using the shield, the reflective shield, so he didn't have to look at her in the eye, find out where she was, cut her head off. And then the head of the Gorgon was used in, was it Jason and the Argonauts? No, Clash of the Titans, to turn people to stone. Jason and the Argonauts was the Golden Fleece. You hear the wife in the other room listening to her stories. She's always going to have an audiobook on. She plays it full fucking blast. She's into cool novels. She's into like Navy SEAL stuff and all that. Right now she's reading the Alex Cross novels. Just watched that show on Prime. It was alright.
Have an iron hand? You fucking know he's got an iron hand. The Iron Hands believe that the flesh is weakness. But despite all of their enhancements, despite all the things that made them demigods, replacing some of the flesh with bionics will allow them to serve the Emperor more. They go hard into vehicles and dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts being giant walking sarcophagi that have wounded space marines piloting them from the inside. Vehicles, metal upgrades. These are the things that make up this legion. Their tech marines have servo arms sticking out from all directions. They have a wide array of mechanics and extremely often replace limbs with metal ones, serving all kinds of different functions to deal with their enemies. The Iron Hands are also not particularly nice. They're
like the Space Marine version of the Necrons then, huh? Their souls are there. There's probably some, organic material in there, some biological material in there, but they're mostly bionic. So not quite Necron tier. Not quite Necron tier. They're not Necron tier, they're Necrons. So not quite Necron tier. That's what I was trying to say, not Necron tier. You get it.
Kind of assholes. I mean, Marines are already normally pretty big assholes, but they're a little bit up there because of their flesh, civilians made of flesh, because you see, the flesh is weak, flesh is corruptible. Bionics, the strength of the machine is...
Yeah, you're right. Technology isn't corruptible. Just had Horus F up the Horus virus, Horus malware, F up my internet for about half an hour right while I was making this video. Yeah, machines are not corruptible.
And cannot so easily be corrupted. So if you want people who have this little techno-fetishistic vibe to them, that love their vehicles and their walking coffins, hit up the Iron Hands.
You understand, Commander? I was never here.
Legion 11.
So second 11 Legion, 2 to 11, goes to 11. I get it. I got it earlier. I was just reinforcing the fact that I got it, right?
Why, hello there. I have returned from touching grass. I know. I'm pretty cool with the grass touching. And now let's continue our Warhammer lecture.
This ruffles my jammies! Okay, so what's going on here?
I am a super sandwich!
The World Eaters. Allegiance, Heretic. Primarch, Angron. A butcher, a slaughterer.
Like extremely, earth-shatteringly, unreasonably fuck-ass mad.
Single word descriptor, anger. Hey you! Yeah, you! Are you mad? Do you just fucking hate everything? Do you want to murder everything in sight and get rewarded for doing so? Then you should join the World Eaters. Home planet of Nuceria and Primarch Angron, who, if the name didn't suggest, is real fucking angry. Angron was raised a slave, forced to fight in gladiator pits. When he refused, they shoved old world tech into his brain, so that if he ever felt any emotion other than anger, it caused him extreme pain. All his sons, wanting to be like their dad, also put a version of these nails in their brain. So now you have an entire legion who literally feel unimaginable pain if they are feeling any emotion other than anger. Slap them with a freight train of armor, 2 goddamn chainsaw axes, and you can see what's gonna happen. It's no wonder they're corrupted by corn. They're honestly a surprisingly sad legion that I actually screwed up in assuming that they were all just angry murderers. I mean, they are, but they didn't start out that way.
Well, that stands to reason, because as anybody who's been through therapy or anybody who's tried to work on themselves in any way knows that the root of all anger is pain. Back to the video.
Their corn corruption degraded their intelligence, their free will, and made powerful warriors into arguably even more powerful warriors, but blunt, like frothing at the mouth psycho warriors. The World Eaters, like I mentioned in the Space Wolves, they wear their concept on their sleeve. They are angry, they want to kill things, they want to kill you, and maybe some of their friends, and that's the faction. They're red, they're mad, they're gonna run at you and cause death. If you like that, you play the World Eaters. Or you like it because they were, at one point a lot better than that. Most of Warhammer was a lot better than that. I was once a lot better than that. That was when I was in college. I didn't finish college, and neither did Angron.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah, I'd imagine that they're pretty full-on melee attack, probably got a good shooting phase, but since they're affiliated with Khorne, they've probably got like a huge melee phase in them. If I was to guess, now that I'm a tabletop expert, I wouldn't say that. Now that I'm a tabletop enlightened person, I wouldn't say that. Now that I've watched a video on tabletop stuff, there we go. It's a lot of red though. I don't know if it would be for me. I don't hate red, it's a lot of red.
If it's not done by sunrise, I'll cut your balls off.
The Ultramarines. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch Rabute Gilliman. That's how it's said. An analyst,
Rabute.
a diplomat, a blueberry boy scout. Single word descriptor, duty. When you see Space Marines on a box or just Space Marines in promotional material, notice how they are always colored blue. These are the blue Space Marines. These ones here, the Ultramarines, who hail from the world of Macrogge with their Primarch Rabute Gorilla Man.
These are the ones that I'm like, these are the Space Marines, the ones that you see everywhere. These are the ones that I thought were the Space Marines, and everything else was not science.
Ultramarines are the white bread of Space Marines, the grilled chicken with salt and pepper. This is by no means an insult. They are plain Jane, but that's also because they are so goddamn good at their job. Their skill for warfare is paramount, but so is their ability for leadership. Gilliman for a while was a damn boring Primarch for all the reasons.
A big old sort of Julius Caesar look about him. He's got the laurels, you know, the twin-headed eagle. Might as well have SPQR written across his chest.
He was great because no matter how hard you try, you don't win a war without logistics, without supply lines, without trade routes, without infrastructure and economy. You don't win anything without all that stuff, and Gilliman knows it, which is why he has one of the largest standing empires in the Imperium, named Ultramar, which is why his sons are the most recognizable of all the Space Marines, which is why the only thing that rivals the weight of their victories is the weight of their egos. They are good at everything and bad at nothing. They are great at everything. Other legions can do other things better than them, but they are good at everything. The most interesting thing about the Ultramarines is their characters, as they are all now inflicted with various amounts of ultra depression for many reasons. Gilliman is, at the time of recording, the only playable Primarch currently on the tabletop, and the only one that has returned to the 41st millennium for the Loyalist side. He took one look at what his empire has become and immediately wanted to fucking die. Being forced to lead everything he once hated, an Imperium rotten to its core with his sole responsibility to save it, is kind of what makes him interesting. They are a perfectly standard legion with perfectly standard ideals, and great if you want a simple, clean slate.
Right, okay, so he has come back and saw the state of Imperium. He's seen like the decay in the Emperor, and he wants to try and fix it. I wonder if with the goal of him becoming the new Emperor, I wonder if he has noble intentions, but at the same time he has eyes on the throne. Not in a bad way, not in a conniving, scheming way, but in a sort of honourable, full of integrity way. Death Guard.
Stinky. Funny poop. Poop funny. Woo.
The Death Guard. Allegiance, Heretic. Primarch, Mortarian. A Reaper.
They're not corn. They're green, so I'm just guessing. I said corn, but I just fell out of my mouth. Nurgle. I wonder if their allegiance is to Nurgle. We talked about like Stinky and stuff like that, and death and decay. So I'm thinking Nurgle. But I'll roll the dice there.
Poison, an ungodly stench. Single word descriptor, rot. The Death Guard hail from Barbaros, with the Primarch Mortarium. The 14th Legion were known for their incredible resilience to damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Where the Imperial Fists were defensive thanks to tactics and posturing, the Death Guard were resilient because they could take a punch or a gut shot or a cannon to the chest and just keep on moving. They are slow, yet they are resistant, which was only confounded as a Death Guard captain, Typhus, codename Dickhead, sold them out to Nurgle, god of rot and decay. Now, the Death Guard are a Nurgle-worshipping infected...
Got it. One thing I have noticed, which is it's clearly deliberate, like all the Primarchs have their names sort of hinting at what they are, what they stand for. You know, sanguineous, sang, blood, right? Mort, whatever his name is, Mort something, death, like mortician, mortal, mortifying, mortal wounds.
Legion, whose ability to feel pain and take damage has all but just gone away. They wade through gunfire, able to kill normal Marines 10 times over and continue unharmed, all while spreading rot and disease in the name of their dark, very stinky master. Where the Death Guard enter, plague spreads. People get sick and they die. They spread debilitating disease to all around them. Why would a Legion need to be anything more than very tanky when their their enemies are falling over, puking, firing out of both ends, and having their skin peel off.
Oh, he's
just by their
spotted!
presence. Entire worlds infested with a zombie rot, swarms of insects that eat flesh and metal alike, all while the Legion advances slowly, painfully, allowing the disease they spread to take its toll before they reap the lives they believe belong to them. And look at Mortarian's model, dude. The man is baller as a gigantic moth with a gigantic scythe. Come on now. The Death Guard.
For my next trick!
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
The Thousand Sons. Allegiance, Heretic. Primarch, Magnus the Red. A scholar, a sorcerer.
So this guy, how is he a heretic? Maybe I'm getting mixed up because I thought Magnus was the one that tried to send a signal to the Emperor that the Horus Heresy was about to happen, and in the process messed up the Emperor's Imperium Warpway project because he had that protective shell around Terra, and Magnus broke through it. How is he then a heretic? Maybe it happened after Horus Heresy and something about the Emperor changed his mind.
A fucking nerd. Single word descriptor? Magic. The Thousand Sons hail from their homeworld of Prospero, with their Primarch Magnus the Red. The final of our 4 major Chaos God factions, the Thousand Sons are disciples of Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways. Heavily inspired by their Egyptian theming, the Legion themselves are slaves to the god of trickery and change. Most of them no longer even having a physical form, reduced to just dust, piloting suits of armor at the whim of a sorcerer leader. The Thousand Sons do not deserve their fate. There's a common joke that Magnus did nothing wrong. This is untrue. He has done much wrong. However, he is very sympathetic, mainly because the Space Wolves and Leman Russ sought to end their rivalry through the annihilation of their legion, escaping only through the assistance of the Changer of Ways, and forever changed because of it. Meanwhile, magic is their main tool. Take some Lovecraftian style abilities, the eyes everywhere, and potent spells to be cast at their foes, whether these are bolts of psychic lightning, reversing time itself, opening up portals to unreality, or changing the very fabric of the universe. The Thousand Sons sorcery knows no bounds, and they are very good at it. If you're a fan of like wizards, your classic style of spellcaster, and you want a ton of them, combined with a tragic backstory and a Primarch who, like Mortarian, looks f***ing baller, the Thousand Sons are for you.
You f***ing asshole! There's no way, you're a f***ing cheater.
Before we go into Sons of Horus, magic has always kind of appealed to me when it comes to playing games like Final Fantasy, like having a magic heavy guy, or playing a Souls game and having it like a magic build or an intelligence build in Elden Ring, or like something spellcast related. I played Diablo 4. The first time I ever played a Diablo game, I picked a sorcerer. I seem to gravitate towards it. Sometimes it can be a little bit okay. Sometimes it makes certain games a little bit too easy. There's something about magic that's always drawn me to those builds. I think it's cool. So yeah, Magnus and his army might be one for me. All right, Sons of Horus.
Such a sore loser. You're a cheater. My dad works at Nintendo.
The Sons of Horus, or the Luna Wolves, or the Black Legion. Allegiance, Heretic. Primarch, Horus, a warlord, a treasured friend, or the traitor himself. Single word descriptor, assault. The Sons of Horus are the formal name of Horus's legion, hailing from the world of Chthoniya. The Sons of Horus themselves were assault troops. The strength of their attack was some of the most powerful in the legions. While the White Scars may favor speed for their strikes, the Sons of Horus were known for their overall offensive power. It was even said that if the Sons of Horus met the Imperial Fists, they would be at a stalemate for eternity.
From a place called Chthoniya. Chthonic, as in like underworld, like ancient Greece. Underworld. I suppose that makes sense since he's of that treacherous underworld type persuasion.
However, the Sons of Horus are no longer because, well, they are now instead the Black Legion, led by Abaddon the Despoiler, who claims to succeed where his father failed. The Black Legion are still an offensive and assault-based force, but they
cool armor, look at that. Obviously a lot of black, but they've probably got like a lot of death-themed armor, horns and spikes, probably a lot of goat stuff in there. I mean, goats related to like Satan and the underworld and all that.
They act much like the Ultramarines, but for chaos. Your standard black and brass space marine who are known for recruiting in all different kinds of avenues. Anyone can become a member of the Black Legion. Anyone can swear allegiance to the War Master. You gain favored by not just one, but all 4 gods equally. Their famous line, "Let the galaxy burn," is the best way to describe them. It doesn't matter what the outcome is, so long as the Imperium dies, the Black Legion has done its job. They are a legion formed from hatred and spite, with a clear goal in mind, as the Dark Gods are calling, and the Black Legion are sure to answer.
Hello. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
No.
It wasn't fucking optional!
The Word Bearers. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Lorgar Aurelian, a preacher, a fanatic, a choir boy. Single word descriptor, zeal. If the Black Legion answer the call of the Dark Gods, what if instead you decide to call the gods first? Well, then the Word Bearers are for you. The 17th Legion led...
Yeah, so they incite the wrath of Chaos Gods. He's like, they're like that guy at work that's like, oh, see you doing something, be like, hey, Chief, I'm not sure, what are the rules on doing pull-ups from the ladder of the fire truck? Oh, no? All right, well, I just saw Doc doing, yeah. Oh, I just wanted to make sure. Oh, I don't want to complain or, no, I don't want to get him in trouble. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Chief. Yeah, no, anything for the department, man. All right, bye. Fucking cocksuckers. You probably work for the Imperium IRS. Well, let's see, you missed your line, in line 17 here. Well, you didn't claim your expenses for that, so we're going to go ahead and just murder you and your family.
By Primarch Lorgar on the planet of Colchis. Originally obsessed with worshipping the Emperor of Mankind as a god, they found that despite his divinity, he was not worthy of worship because, you know, he raised their equivalent of Jerusalem to the ground for daring to worship him. Like, could you imagine if God actually showed up and was just like, Jerusalem is stupid, it just destroyed the whole thing? Like, what would that do to your head? But there are gods that want worship and will reward those who do.
I'm not sure you should be saying stuff like that on YouTube these days. Can we get a ruling on that?
The Word Bearers are chaos worshippers to a T. All chaos gods. They specialize in demonic rituals, the summoning of demons, and the mutual possession of their own troops. They welcome demons to their bodies to fight as one. They exalt the dark gods themselves for aid, and guess what? They answer. In the world of 40k, Satan doesn't just call you back. He hops in his GT Mustang and he crashes on your couch. In the world of 40k, your rituals will end with genuine results. The Word Bearers know this. They know through sacrifices, through devotion, through dark baptism, the gods will answer and they will be rewarded. So they use it. They bring forth demons. They bring forth possessions. They bring forth the power of the Neverborn, the damned, and those that hide in the dark to bear against the Imperium. Lorgar sits there, smiling, as the truth he always knew, the existence of gods and the importance of...
Reminds me of Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat. Tattoos on his face, bald, always into summoning demons and necromancy.
Of faith is a reality, and it is a tool he is using to rend the galaxy.
Dear Sir Stroke Madam, fire!
I've heard a lot about the Salamanders. A lot of people seem to like the Salamanders, so I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about them. But I'm hoping they're not like, too cool, like everybody likes them, that you would show up to a tabletop event and 80% of the people there are playing Salamanders. I hope they're not that cool. I still want them to be kind of trendy cool, because if you're too popular, you're not really trendy.
Dear
you know what I'm saying?
Sir Stroke Madam, fire! Exclamation mark. Fire! Exclamation mark. Help me!
The Salamanders. Allegiance, loyalist. Primarch, Vulcan, a forge master, a behemoth, a very huggy boy. Single word descriptor, fire. The Salamanders hail from Nocturne, a volcanic planet home to their Primarch Vulcan. They are the largest of the space
So these are the ones that have got the black skin because there's no sunlight there. I got into a discussion with somebody in the comments that basically they have like an all-year tan because of the non-visible light radiation that is basically cooking their skin, giving them that dark skin.
Marines, not due to numbers, but rather size. Vulcan, he is an enormous slab of beef, by far the largest of all the Primarchs. However, don't let his size fool you, as he is also the kindest. Salamanders have the juxtaposition of looking frightening, being larger than other Marines, while also boasting an ashy, like coal color skin and blazing red eyes, while simultaneously carrying around all manner of flame weaponry. So your average civilian might be spooked, but in reality, they are by far the kindest of all the legions to those civilians. Vulcan believes that to safeguard the Imperium is to, at the end of the day, safeguard its people. So unlike other legions who put their lives far and above the average human, the Salamanders spend significantly more time trying to save them, often taking numerous losses by doing so. They are very independent as well. They're forgers and blacksmiths, maintaining their own weapons and crafting versions of it. They also have the very rare privilege of being able to see their families even after becoming a space marine. They care, which is the funny part, because the 7.5-foot tall giant with flaming red eyes who just reduced a traitor to bubbling metal says, "You have nothing to fear, young citizen. Take my hand." If you enjoy fire, melting things, and being the nicer of the
Marines, that armor as well.
Salamanders are for you.
Guard.
Sneak attack! Saga, sneak attacks don't work if you yell it out loud.
The Raven Guard. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Corvus Corax. A raven, a shadow, an industrial...
Isn't that the species name of the raven? Corvus Corax, Latin name for raven? I get it. It doesn't have to be sort of unique. The last guy's name was Vulcan, like the Roman god of fire. That makes sense. So I think maybe just calling him Corvus would have been a little bit less on the nose or on the beat. Fucking what?
DJ. Single word descriptor? Stealth. The Raven Guard are the final Loyalist Legion at 19 and hail from the planet Deliverance with Primarch Corvus Corax. If it hasn't been made clear enough already, the Raven Guard are stealth specialists and proficient in all manners of assassination. Despite this, their signature winged jump pack and double lightning claw look is, well...
Hey, it might be saying Corvus Horax. It might not be saying Corvus Corax. Let me look it up. Warhammer Raven Guard. No, it's Primarch is Corvus Corax. It sounded like an H that he was saying, but yeah, Corvus Corax. I was about to take back everything I said, but no, I'm doubling down on everything that I said. God damn it. Fuck you, Horus.
Not very stealthy. They are named after, of course, the Raven and embody the entire concept of it as a herald of death. They are stealthy, patient hunters that have no problem with waiting and waiting and waiting until the moment to strike is at hand. It's not easy being a stealth faction when your stealth involves people in 1 ton of power armor, but they find a way. That, more than anything, should not be used to show how ridiculous 40k is, even though it is, but rather to show how good the Raven Guard are at their jobs. It's not about them sneaking around you without being seen, but it's also about them having lied in wait for so long that it wasn't until they were in striking distance that you even realized they had been there. And also, if you want, edgelord Marines with a long black haircut, pale skin, ravens everywhere, if you want to field assassins and snipers abound, then the Raven Guard are for you.
And then they've got their hands are sort of feather tips, but probably blades, knives and stuff. I like their black armor though. It's very sort of Punisher looking, very, very clean looking. All right, here we go. This is the last Legion, I think.
Could be in this very room. It could be you. It could be me. It could even be... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? It was obvious.
The Alpha Legion. Allegiance? Heretic. Primarch, Alfarius, and Omegon. Saboteurs, destabilizers, they're in your walls. Single word descriptor, espionage. Finally, the 20th Legion, the Alpha Legion, led by Alfarius and Omegon. The only Legion to have 2 Primarchs who were split as twins. The Alpha Legion are heretical, we think, and specialize in destabilization of society and armies. Their entire shtick is the Hydra, because when you cut off one head, 2 more take its place. All of the Alpha Legion look exactly like their Primarch. olive skin, shaved head. All claim to be Alfarius. All are liars. They make the largest use of sleeper cells and cultists in the Chaos Space Marine factions.
Wow, that's
it's extremely
interesting.
easy to take over a planet when you
Poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses!
Where the Raven Guard use stealth and sabotage to eliminate their enemies, the Alpha Legion prefer to weaken them over time with sleeper agents, impersonations, basically anything you can imagine from a hardcore spy movie or Cold War level espionage. Being Alfarius is not only an honor, being Alfarius is a requirement. There's a story of someone chasing down an Alpha Legion agent for years upon years, and when they finally catch up with them and they see that the agent is wearing the same face as their pursuer, because this was the plan all along, to kill him and take his spot. We're talking facial reconstruction surgery, we're talking hacking, we're talking political assassination and impersonation, everything. They are Space Marines in name only, because being a strong stoic warrior is not what the Alpha Legion is interested in. In fact, the Alpha Legion is interested in you not even knowing that the Alpha Legion is a thing. I am Alfarius. You are Alfarius. We are all
I am Alfarius
in his Lord's glorious army. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a little something. I hope if you were on the fence about what Space Marines you wanted to field, you would now have a better idea of what you want to play. Buy my Gamer Supps Shaker. It's on sale. It's on pre-order. It's ready to go. Just get it. Just get it. Use code Bricky. It's in the description. Just get it. And a huge thank you to all of my patrons over on patreon.com/Bricky and the members on the YouTube channel. Your names are here. I thank you a ton. You are all very generous. And, I need to answer a question. Have you ever attempted to touch grass but end up touching the Destiny 2 loading screen? Oh, damn it. I just... Yeah. So?
Come on. Obviously, you're a skater.
All right. That was an awesome video. And I did learn a lot about Space Marine Legions. Like I said, that I thought that the blue guys were the Space Marines and all the other ones were just part of another army, not realizing that there are different legions of Space Marines. Some Chaos Legions, some Loyalist Legions as well. However, I'm not entirely sure that I have any clearer of an idea of which ones I would play or invest in if I decided to go. I thought the Salamanders were cool. I liked their armor. I liked the colors. I thought the vampire guys were pretty cool. And I thought the ones that are kind of Egyptian looking, those were pretty cool as well. But I'm still in the dark about which ones I would actually choose. I think I'm leaning towards Salamander. All right. What we'll do is we'll go in, we'll look at some of the comments from the last video, which was the best starting army. And as usual, we'll go newest first and then scroll down to the oldest. I'm not just doing this because I'm blind, but also because it shows up a little bit better on the video. Because I noticed the last time I looked at it, you could sort of see on a big screen which comment I was reading, but there we go. All right. Not a real order, even though people do think that some will make it easier for noobs. I think if you watch them fairly quickly and get all the info before you start doing a true deep dive, then you'll be golden. And really, just as long as you're having fun, keep at it, homie. Honestly, I haven't gotten into nor know anything about the tabletop, so thank you for watching this. I'm going to watch this myself after I'm done watching yours. I want to get to know about miniatures, not to play. I would like to get a collection going just for my own thing, not from Games Workshop. Theirs look kind of boring, but I've always thought custom miniatures look cool AF, so I'd love to get some. Thanks for watching the video, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, and good luck with your miniature collection. That's pretty cool. I kind of agree with you. Some of the Games Workshop stuff, and meaning no offense, is a little bit kind of bland, and the custom stuff, although it's a little bit more expensive, it's cool, you know, and it's expensive for that reason. Some of the Forge World stuff looks really cool. And quite honestly, some of the fan art that's out there, in my opinion, is some of the coolest art that you'll see. Do Bricky's Space Marine video. And hello, lovely to see more people look at the tabletop side of the hobby. This video from Bricky is quite old. He's talking about 8th edition, and we're currently on 10th edition, 40k for some perspective. World Eaters and Leagues of Votann are two armies he didn't cover that came out since. World Eaters is the corn-corrupted legion of the Chaos Space Marines, and as you can imagine, they're all about melee combat, blazing fast and rip anything they touch apart. Angron is a Primarch who is almost an entire army of his own, and with the new rules in 10th, if he dies, there's a chance that he will revive full health, making killing him both necessary and feel pointless. The army roster is pretty limited and their playstyle is not very well rounded. You need to want to hit things and hit them hard and fast to play World Eaters. Pretty similar price range and difficulty to paint to the other Chaos Space Marine factions. Hard to recommend for a beginner due to their very difficult playstyle. They are very unforgiving and can be a bit noob stompy if you're playing with inexperienced players. And army matchups can lead to some really feels bad moments where it feels like it was over before either of you even deployed your models. Feels bad moments. Like that. Leagues of Votann are, in short, space dwarfs. Nice pun. They are a mixed arms, mostly shooting slanted army that uses grudges to increase their damage against specific units in their opponent's army, and get more grudges when their units die to the opponent's units. The big thing is sustained hits this edition seemingly, where their weapons can be a complete casino similar to Orks, making them a bit random to play. Their aesthetic is like first moon landing arrived at a Viking-themed birthday party. We've got moon buggies, but also angular Nordic-designed armour with runes carved into them. It's definitely a look. Much like World Eaters, the roster is limited due to being a new army, and they also have very little established lore due to that. I think they're neat, but you'll probably be playing them because they're dwarfs in space instead of their own specific background in the setting. Same price range too, I'd say. However, I think that as an army they are more well-rounded than World Eaters due to having more variety in what their units do, I think that is, despite having a limited model range. Pretty decent beginner army, all things considered. Oh, Space Dwarves. You'll have to toss me. Yes, do Bricky's Space Marine Legions video. Done. Yes, start with Space Marines. They'll teach you all of the game and the importance/flaws of leaning into any focus or super melee shooting/psyker. Have fun, Derek. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for watching the video. And thanks for commenting. I love all the comments and feedback. If you want a great video, yes I do, watch the Templin Institute Cadia video. Best one I can think of. But they've really fallen off since then and messed up. Messed up? How did they mess up? If you're still curious about playing the 40k tabletop but don't want to invest the time and money into a full 2,000 point army, you should check out their smaller scale tactical game called Kill Team. Kill Team games are run with the same factions as regular 40k, but with only a handful of models on smaller battlefields, squad versus squad instead of army versus army. So you can pretty much get everything you need to play in a single box. The rules are a little different, not exactly a one-for-one with the main game, but it's close enough that you can get a feel for it without major commitment. No, they're not more like goblins than elves. Is that why I was talking about the Eldar? Man, what are you talking about? Images. I mean, look at this. Alright, I get that this is Spider-Man, but look at this right here. Doesn't that look like Dark Eldar? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, like, I get that there's a big difference between elves and goblins, but it also depends on universe. Like, are you looking at a Tolkien universe? Are you looking at a Harry Potter universe? A normal elf in one universe doesn't look like a normal elf in a different universe. Normal goblin, even when you look at traditional descriptions of goblins, it depends on what ethnic group you're looking at. English stories' description of elves might have a different morphology than German stories' descriptions of elves or goblins. Just an example. My personal opinion, I think they look, again, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or offend anybody, and I am new to 40k, so that's like, yeah, they look like goblins. At least one person shares my point of view. Funny that you call Tau the US NATO, as the fan base, as far as I ever see, call them communists, jokingly of course. I think in the first video they were talking about the Inquisition being like the SS, the Gestapo, KGB sort of thing, and that's where I was like calling them the space communists. I didn't think that the Tau were communists in particular. I know they have the sort of utilitarian approach where everything's for the greater good. That's not necessarily communist. There's a lot of other socio-economic, political ideals have aspects of utilitarianism about them. I wonder if there's more stuff about the Tau that I'm not realising that makes them a little bit more a communist thing, but they seem to be more. The reason I was saying the US and NATO is because they've sort of gone into it with the idea of making everything right the way that it was supposed to be, and that was the whole point in creation of the United States, and NATO is to do things the right way. I mean, settlers left the old world, moved to America because they wanted to basically start afresh. Seems like that's what the Tau was doing. And that's kind of what I was getting at, where the whole US NATO thing is trying to do things the right way for the right reasons. There she is, working her head off out there now. I think the noise cancelling doing a good job at keeping her out though. Welcome to Warhammer 401k. I wonder if that's because you're going to have to cash in your 401k to be able to afford the models. Jeez. I couldn't believe that one unit was $325, and I bet there's even more expensive ones than that. I chose Tyranids as my first army, but decided to choose two so I could play at home. In the end, I chose Genestealer Cult as the second because of the lore connection, and with them at the time being able to field Quarter Guard. To start collecting box sets back then, I quickly had 3 500-point armies. 4 years later, I have Tyranids, Genestealer Cults, Guard, Imperial Knights, and Sisters, along with 3 Titans. 38k of model points wise for a game that regularly uses 2k per army in games. So you've got 38k of model points for a 2,000 point game. It's a little bit overkill. Hey, you like what you like, you know? Passion for collecting? Have at it. So the main reason Orks are expensive is because you need to buy a lot of them in order to field a standard army. If you're looking to run a 1,000 point army or a small army game, you're looking at about 40 models, a good mix of infantry and vehicles, with enough points left over for some upgrades. Whereas 500 point combat patrol setup would probably float somewhere around 10 to 30 models. It doesn't sound too bad, but the basic kit of the Ork boys consisting of 9 boys and a knob, a couple customization options, is going to run you about $58 US, ordering from Games Workshop. Meanwhile, a tactical squad of 9 tactical marines and a sergeant will run you $60, but will generally yield better points value since Space Marines are better all round than Orks, and you don't need as many models to make a credible army since they are a semi-elite army with higher points costs. That's not even getting into vehicles with more specialised units and characters, which are generally more expensive than the generic infantry units. And the worst part, Ork models are surprisingly detailed compared to a lot of other armies, especially with their Mad Max scrapyard aesthetic, and the fact that most Ork head models have exposed faces, meaning you usually need a wider variety of paints and a lot more detail work to make a decent looking Ork army. On paper, they're cheaper, but you start reading the fine print and you realise how expensive they can get. That said, they're a kit basher's wet dream because Orks canonically steal and loot war gear and trinkets from other factions all the time, and none of their weapons follow a standardized template. So there's a lot of creative liberty that can be taken so long as the model looks proper orky and fit the rough outline of what they're supposed to be. So someone can look at an Ork holding a bolter and go, yep, that's an Ork shooter boy. That's an Ork shooter boy. Or see an Ork with a power axe and go, that's an Ork chopper boy, without really second guessing the mixture of Ork and Space Marine kits. Can I have the cliff notes for that comment? Damn, son. I should have edited that out. I was just like, oh my god. I'm going to play him reading that comment to cure my insomnia. You guys are ridiculous. I don't know what he's talking about looking at eBay for cheap armies. It's literally mostly collector's items and dudes wanting ridiculous money for a poorly painted space nun nipple showing. A lot of the rules stuff is really outdated. And again, somebody said that we're on 10th edition now, and Bricky made this video when it was 8th edition, right? As a guard player myself, they have been somewhat cut at the knees with the removal of conscripts. Their tanks are nothing to laugh at. These kind of reaction and commentary videos are perfect for your channel lately. Thanks, Cloud. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, that's going to do it. If you guys haven't seen the Starting Army video, I'll put a link in the description. Check that out. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I think I hear a little girl. Did you time that perfectly?
She also really wanted to see her dad.
Oh my goodness. Come here, my love. I know people want to see you too.
Oh, you're very
big girl. Oh my God.
Absolutely
No, darling. What do you think?
Oh, you're beautiful, baby.
You are beautiful. Can everybody see your pantaloons? She's got her little mermaid panties on. Look at her little frillies. But she's having her first heat cycle, aren't you, darling? And it's been a rough time. just a little bit low on energy. Like, Dad, if you lost about 10% of your blood, you'd be grumpy too. What do you think? Say hi to everybody? Hi, Warhammerers. What do you think? What's your favourite Space Marine faction, Penny? Would it be Salamanders? The Ultramarines? What do you think of Horus? Oh, she wants to bite Horus's head off, don't you? F Horus. Oh, okay. Oh. All right. You gonna get down? Say bye-bye. Say bye, Penny. Say bye-bye. All right, here you go. Oh, God. It's getting too heavy for me to lift with one arm. Hopefully that satisfies you Penny fans out there. Stay tuned for the next video. We're probably going to do another Warhammer 40k content creator. I think whatever way we go, it's going to be some awesome content. So stand by for that. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.